A historic event happened last weekend. The Tour de France ended in Nice instead of Paris for the first time ever. With France's capital busy preparing for the Olympic Games, the world's toughest cyclists took their final stage from Monaco to Nice. And guess what? We were part of it. After 3 weeks of racing all over France, the 111th Tour de France crowned its winner, Tadej Pogačar, at Place Masséna, and Nice went wild with excitement. What an incredible vibe! Fans from all over Europe, and probably the world, lined the roads and cheered on the cyclists. Behind me, the final stage of the Tour de France is going on. But we were allowed to be on Publicity Caravan earlier today. So let's go have a look at that. So before the 21st stage starts in Monaco, there's an interesting hustle and bustle happening in this huge hall somewhere in the middle of Nice. You might not know this, but before every single stage of the Tour de France, ever since 1930, the so-called Publicity Caravan hits the road 2 hours ahead of the riders, following their exact same route. It's almost like a carnival parade with 180 floats, colorful, cheerful, and packed with small gifts to toss into the crowd. And we were invited by one of the 30 brands, Skoda and its electric car fleet, to join the caravan. There are rolling coffee mugs, hotel rooms, oversized foods, lots of police cars escorting the floats, and much more. While everyone's getting ready for the final stage, some last-minute touches are being made, and then things start moving. After 3 weeks spent together almost day and night, the caravan crews are like a big family. It gets a tad wistful for a second, but then the party is back on. Now Brice, the presenter of our Skoda team, gets safely strapped in, just like the rest of us. And I suddenly realized that Brice is kind of famous in France. He's known from the reality TV show Koh Lanta. Anyway, it's time to get going. Since Skoda is one of the main sponsors of the Tour de France, we're among the very first floats to hit the road. Brice introduces today's crew of invitees and his trusty driver Fifi as we head towards Monaco for the start of today's stage. We race around the bends and then actually merge onto the highway with regular traffic flowing around us. After just a few minutes, we exit the motorway, pass through the toll gate for free, and head down towards the Principality. I can't believe it's actually starting to rain. It never rains in July on the French Riviera. Then we arrive in Monaco, with its palace perched on the rock by the sea. And before things get serious, it's time for some lunch. Here at the port on Boulevard Albert where the Formula 1 race starts every May, the final stage of the Tour de France will kick off in just about 2 hours. Right now, at precisely 10 minutes after 1, it's us, the caravan, starting our journey back to Nice. We follow the Formula 1 racetrack backward for a while, along the port, through the tunnel, with a detour along the sea. Then, we slowly but surely climb the hill, passing the famous casino, and soon we're seriously picking up altitude. Poor cyclists. In exactly 47 minutes, we're expected to be back in Nice at the finish line at Place Masséna. That's about the same time the riders, starting one after another every 90 seconds, will need to complete this final 33.7 kilometer time trial. Out here in the mountains between Monaco and Nice is where the true Tour de France fans have gathered. If you're into cycling, plan your next vacation to France in July and watch one of the stages yourself. It's a blast. Just choose a mountain the riders need to climb, or they'll pass by too quickly. Meanwhile, we passed La Turbie, the marker indicating 20 kilometers remaining, Eze Village, Cap Ferrat, Villfranche-sur-Mer, and finally head back down into Nice. The closer we get to the city center, the more crowded it becomes. We take one last tour around the port of Nice, around Rauba-Capeo and Castle Hill, and then the promenade comes into view. Just 4 more kilometers to the finish line. For us, just like for the cyclists, it's the final push until we reach the finish line at Place Masséna and then roll back to where we started. So 2 hours to go until the first cyclists are due to arrive in Nice. That gives us enough time to walk back into town to the racetrack, back to where we were earlier, and catch the actual race. Every couple of minutes a rider shows up, sometimes 2, always preceded by a police motorcycle, and then they're out of sight again. As Brice pointed out earlier from his observations over the past 3 weeks, there are so many Danes along the track. Denmark must be empty right now. And while many spectators, fans or not, follow the race from the roadsides along the track, others couldn't be bothered and prefer to spend their day on the beach. At Place Masséna, the very heart of Nice, the fans can't wait for this year's winner to arrive. But Pogačar is the very last to start in Monaco. We, on the other hand, have had enough for the day, elated nonetheless that we were part of this historic event. If you're planning your trip to the French Riviera around major highlights in the area, check out our videos featuring some of the greatest events.